the Parliament since '84 has not spent any time in what the Constitution asks us to do, and is to look at the underlying laws of Papua New Guinea, to look at customary law, to look at Christian principles, and to define and revise our laws to suit the society that we are trying to bring. I urge all of us to think about this carefully, Mr. Deputy Speaker, and to ask the government to put some thought into it and to ensure that the Constitutional Law Reform Commission takes this into account, and we work together with the parliamentary committees to make a start, a proper start, a real start. Secondly, Deputy Speaker, do we have winter here? Do we have autumn here? Do we have spring here? Do we have summer here? Yupla, thinking good. Our budget cycle is divided into 4 cycles, and our sitting is 4 times a year, and the number of days are constitutionally specified. Observation Blomil on this practice, Mr. Deputy Speaker. It is unfair, it is convoluted. We have Lahara and we have a dry season. We have 2 seasons. You plant, you grow, and you harvest. There's a time it rains, and there's a time it is dry. So it is about time, Mr. Speaker, that we look at changing this country, changing the way we sit, to make it, you can keep the number of days, but to have 2 long sessions in a year that makes up the number of days that we are required to sit. And why do I say this, Mr. Speaker, Deputy Speaker? It's because you know committees of Parliament are not working. We hold LLG elections, which we haven't done, but when we do, LLG meetings have to wait, provincial meetings have to wait, and we hold meetings 4 times a year. I think we should hold meetings at 2 main periods. We have 2 seasons in a year. We should have 2 main sessions in a year, with about maybe 2 months, 1 month dedicated to the committees that must mandatorily sit and get the business of this Parliament done, which we have not done. And then Parliament can then flow from there. I say this with all seriousness because we don't do work, and the Parliament, of course, is understaffed and it's under-budgeted. Deputy Speaker, my third issue is the administration of this Parliament. The chair you are sitting in, the chair of the Speaker. It is an arm of government. The Parliament is the third arm of government. The third arm of government is the one we draw the executive from. Mr. Speaker, Deputy Speaker, my view and my stand is that the Speaker must be neutral. It's time now for us to open the candidature and get a neutral Speaker appointed. If he's a member of Parliament, Once he's appointed, he must resign as a member of Parliament and take that office as a constitutional office holder. And it deals from a position of neutrality to ensure that there is no partisanship, to ensure that the Speaker's position is not used as a stepping stone to become a Prime Minister or for another purpose.
Honorable Governor, I interrupt you. I haven't informed the House that your debate will be for 10 minutes. Your 10 minutes have expired. And because I haven't informed the House on the timing of the 10 minutes, I'll give you an extra 2 minutes to sum up your debate. And then in the next speakers, you will have 10 minutes. And I'd like to inform all you honorable members that the timing of the 10 minutes is on the TV screen. You all can follow and see your timing as you speak. So the timing of the 10 minutes is on the TV screen. So while you speak, keep your eye on the TV screen also. Thank you. I'll give you an extra 2 minutes to sum up your debate.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. 3 minutes. To sum up, I would like a restructure of the system that we work in. I also think that we must restore this House to being a secular House, that the Bible must go to a chapel. It must not lie here. That the lentils that were removed earlier must be restored. And House will tumbuna. Now, we must have Parliament precincts sacrosanct, more secure, more immune. It must not be a house that we play around with. Lastly, Mr. Deputy Speaker, you've got plenty extra member. You mean House you vote or put him inside the electorate. All sit down there, you may sit down. You must look, now rearrange him. Rearrange him so that we can take care of the extra members that are coming into the House. Now, 2, office space is short. So I'm asking you, Mr. Speaker, long dealing, you and the Prime Minister, Deputy Speaker, you look good on this law and try and construct it and make sure that we have enough car parks. Make sure that we have an electronic voting system here so that wherever you are, your vote is counted. This is the day of AI. So let's bring systems that will improve our attendance, our participation, and make sure that we honestly serve our people. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Honorable Member for Abao.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. On behalf of the people of Abao, may I congratulate our big house, the National Parliament, on her 41st anniversary. What a proud moment it is for our young country, 50 years old this year, and this honorable house is 41 years old. In fact, Deputy Speaker and honorable members of the House, our first parliament as a country started in 1964 through the House of Assembly. So as a country, we have had 61 years of participating in a democratic process. When we moved here, as per the history, after the current King of England, who was then the Prince, came and opened it on the 8th of August, which is tomorrow. we are now celebrating this wonderful moment. I want to start with reading a summary of this building. Just want to re-echo the call for all citizens of the country and call for all members of parliament to respect this house. And this is, I want to read this. I quote, "Our parliament is a magnificent building designed to reflect traditional architecture of Papua New Guinea and decorated with traditional carvings and artwork to remind us of the rich heritage of the hundreds of tribes that are now joined together as one people and one nation. It is truly a house to be proud of and a house of parliament to be respected by all members of parliament and by all our people. It is the home of the principle of democracy of our nation." When certain sectors of the community, through civil unrest, for example, and come and cause damage to this honorable house, they really touch the heart of all of us, because this is the seat of our democracy. Our survival as a nation depends on what goes on in this house. And in every election, all citizens of the country decide who to send into this chamber. And so respect must always be there at all times, all the time. So on this 41st anniversary of this honorable house, I want to call upon every citizen of this country, and including us, to always honor and respect this beautiful building. I mean, I've been to also some parliaments around the world too, and I can say that this is one of the most magnificent people's house in our beloved country. And I know when, after every election, our citizens vote through the electoral process, through however issues we're debating about the pros and cons of our election process, I think all the citizens are proud to see their leaders seated in this chamber. And I am very, very honored to have been in this chamber for my 5th term. And on this 41st anniversary of this honorable house, I want to say thank you to my people of Abao for continuing to send me back to represent them on this honorable house for 5 terms. I want to point out some things that I have observed sitting here for 5 terms. Particularly point out Section 54 of the Standing Order, which says that when members of parliament enter the chamber and sit, they must not be walking around like it is a marketplace. So many times, including today, when we entered this honorable house on her 41st anniversary celebration week, we are also treating it like a marketplace. And so, the standing orders say when we decide to come in the chamber, we don't go and walk around, talk and shake hands with everybody else like it's in a. You do that on your side in the government and on our side in the government before you come in. The second point, Honorable Deputy Speaker, I want to raise is the center of this honorable house is the chair on which you sit on. That must be recognized. The center of this honorable house is the chair that you are, because that has the highest authority. Your chair has the highest authority. This is why when you come in, we all bow. This is why when we cross in front of you, we all bow before the chair. And so the authority of the chair must always be respected. And so when the chair makes a ruling on whatever, Imiogana must shut up and sit down again. Because the authority, this is the middle of this chamber, and the highest point, they say, in any parliament is the seat of the chair, because the Constitution has given it authority. This comes to my third point in this 41st anniversary celebration. I am of the strongest view that we have not accorded the legislature, through you as head of the legislature, its rightful authority. We have acquired a single chamber and unicameral system. 50 years this year, I think, as I have been advocating on this floor of Parliament, we will now have to relook at how has the unicameral system in the People's House served us. Has it served us well, or has it served us? There are some issues, and I, for one, believe the big issue is the executive arm of the three arms of government has overtaken many times, influenced the legislature. And so I think for today's leaders who are now celebrating the 41st anniversary of this Honorable House and the 50th anniversary of our nation, I think this calls for what I call a hard reset in this subject. And therefore, I will repeat my call for us to seriously look at the possibilities of moving to a bicameral system. And I would strongly recommend that through you, Chair of the House, that you establish a special committee to address this issue of how we can move or graduate towards a bicameral system, and look at how we can rearrange the issues of the governor's seat. We are now debating for them to go back at full-time premiers like before, and that will open up the other 22 seats. Maybe the upper house then have 22 seats, and then we have 22 seats dedicated for women for the lower house, and so we create those spaces. Those are the debates. I hope that the committee that I'm recommending can look at those holistically. The fifth point that I would want to raise, and I have echoed it before, and in my argument that the executive government is always influencing the legislature, is in this process of appointing parliamentary committees. In this 41st anniversary, I want the chair of the House, as I said, is the center of the House. It is constitutionally given the chair the highest authority in this chamber. And therefore that authority must also be displayed in the selection of the parliamentary committees, which are your committees. They don't belong to the executive government. They've got their ministers already. And so the committees of parliament must be influenced by you as the chair of the House. You are sitting on the highest authority of the House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Welcome. And so, my strong suggestion on this 41st anniversary is that, consistent with the number of ministers through the executive government, I strongly recommend that the Parliament what's the right word?
Honorable member, timely go finish, but Babilarim, you got 1 minute more to talk.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Consistent with the number of ministries, the Parliament then establishes the equivalent number of ministers as permanent parliamentary committees. They are then chaired, and those chairmen, their remuneration is the same as the ministers of state. I think this has to be looked at so that we don't have these issues of ministers paid too high, chairmen are doing a lot of running around working, and also their remunerations are low. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My time is up. Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Minister of National Planning.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I too want to join all those members, two members who have stood up to congratulate the Papua New Guinea, congratulate members of Parliament for taking the time to debate on this 41st year of the life of this Parliament. Mr. Speaker, I know we have been given only 10 minutes to speak on a matter that is so important that it's a little unfair. But anyway, you allowed us to speak for 10 minutes, so I will speak on one or two things. I'm sure this Parliament is full of history. This Parliament is, in a way, the history of Papua New Guinea. It is also the story of every member of Parliament who ever represented their people, both present and both gone. So those members who are not present here, their stories, their legend, and their spirit still exist in this Parliament. But, Mr. Speaker, in 1975, we adopted the Constitution. And when you read our Constitution, it is the most complex Constitution in the world. The expert lawyers, smart lawyers will confirm that it is the most complex Constitution on this planet. It is so thick. And if you include the organic laws, it explains why it is the most complex constitution in the world. But when you remember at 1975, all our leaders were not as educated as all of you. They were real leaders that came from the village. But they gave us something so complex, so important, and in many ways so mysterious. Even the academics are trying to understand how they came up with that constitution. So as we sit here on this day and allowed to speak for 10 minutes on something so big and so fundamental, we need to realize that we need to come back to this issue sometime in the future and sit down and discuss in detail so that we can understand where we came from and where we are now and where we are going. Because at independence, they gave us this document and they were uneducated, almost uneducated, not educated all of you. But it has served us well. It gave us the fundamentals of how to run a country for a very young country that did not have much experience in the area of democracy and in the area of governing. And we've done very well because after almost 50 years, we are still here. We are still here and we still have a democracy. But when you look at the Constitution, you will understand why we are still here. And because I have only 10 minutes to talk, I will only talk about one or two things that not even the Constitution talks about. And not even documents have been written on why it is so important, but that's something that holds us together as a nation and as leaders. You see, when you look at that complex Constitution, You read and read and read. It has all the answers to all our problems in this country. If it is not there, look again. And if you cannot find it, you keep looking. Because that constitution refers to no other constitution on this earth. Meaning, if the answer is not there, the answer is not outside, it's in the constitution. That is the beauty and the most powerful thing about our constitution. We have to keep looking inside to find the solutions to all our problems. But we've been lucky in this country because we have had some great leaders. All the prime ministers of this country, we've got to say thank you to them. They brought into this parliament something unique, each of them. Whether you agreed with them or you didn't agree with them, you've got to respect them for what they brought into this parliament. I say this because I was there in Parliament in 1974. I started work in 1974, so I saw all the leaders. I saw all the prime ministers. And at independence, all those leaders, many of them did not speak English, but they spoke very good Pidgin, and they were very good leaders. In fact, they were all born leaders. They were not money leaders. They were not election leaders. They were not academic leaders. They were leaders. Wherever they came from, they were real leaders. I'm not saying you are not leaders or we are not leaders. But when you think of 1975, those leaders came there because they were great leaders. I only have 3 minutes. I just want to say one thing. The Constitution is comprehensive. Everything you need is written down. And what they didn't write in the Constitution, we've been passing laws to make up for all those gaps. So that's why we've passed so many laws over the years. And if it is not in the Constitution, we go and extend the Constitution by amending the Constitution or by passing organic laws. So the answers are there. But on this floor of Parliament, because today we are talking about this Parliament, on this Parliament, when we enter this Parliament, we enter the realm of the Speaker. We enter the realm of standing orders. Sometimes the rules don't apply except the standing orders. And on this Parliament, the Speaker is the boss. And because of the separation of powers, Judiciary, Chief Justice is the boss. In the Executive, Prime Minister is the boss. But on the floor of Parliament, Speaker is the boss. So sometimes if he interprets the law, or rather the standing orders, in a certain way, well, you may disagree with him, but you have to support him, because that's how our system works. So when you read all those things, the Constitution, the laws, and the regulations, everything has been written. But there is something that has not been written that holds this Parliament together. And that is, when the Speaker makes the ruling, you must respect him. That respect is not in the rules. It's not written, it's not in the Constitution, but it is the custom of this Parliament. So that binds us together. Our foundation is respect for not only the rules of the law and the respect for the decisions of the Speaker, but respect for each other. Because while we are here, we may disagree with each other, we may disagree with the interpretation of the laws, but we must respect each other. Because when the nation is watching, it is watching the whole nation in one place. Because I'm from Rigo, Sepuka is from Abau. We are all different. In this country, the most common thing we have is we are all different. For our unity, for our progress, we need to respect the fact that we are all different. And for us to be united, we need to respect each other. We bring that very thing onto the floor of Parliament. And today, on the 41st anniversary, we need to agree and acknowledge that the respect for each other, respect for the Constitution, respect for our people is the thing that binds us together. When we have brought in the Constitution and the constitutional principles from England and all over the world, we brought the institutions, we brought the cultures, we brought the knowledge, we brought the institutions, judiciary, legislature, and the Parliament. We brought all those things, but we never brought one thing. We didn't bring the cultures on which those laws were based. And those culture, they were left behind in England, America, Western world. We just brought the laws. But today, we must have that culture to back up. And our culture is respect for one another. And on the 41st anniversary, that's what binds us together. Whether we agree with each other, disagree with each other, fight each other, we must have one thing. On the floor of Parliament, our uniqueness must be respected. Our differences must be respected. Because the whole nation is different. We survive on the foundation of respect for one another. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Excellent. Honorable Deputy Speaker, one point of order, please.
Speaker, I was sitting there and I've seen the importance of the debate that the honorable members are bringing up in this House regarding what importance of this Parliament. And my point of order, Mr. Speaker, is that I'd like to ask you and the Chair if we can extend the 10 minutes time to 20 minutes so we can give enough time for the honorable members to speak on the importance of Parliament. Because I've seen the speakers, what they saw, they've raised some important matter, and the 10 minutes make them can't finish some important issues that they can raise for the importance of this Parliament. So I raise this as a point of order and seek if that can be done by you at the Chair. Thank you.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, point of order, WME. So you've been sit down to see a custom that you extending by your right. So you go Savarsen na winena. You may get plenty all member like talk to the staff. So me ask him on honorable members law. You try and put him talk inside of the sound. 1 by 10 minutes, because you may get all our program stuff outside. All people will email Sumatin online or the come with stuff now. You may need to go on them on now. And a long day today. So I want them to display me ask him, honorable member of Suave, Sina Younger Mulaswa, Sina Younger Mul, to make him talk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of the people of Sinisene Yangumug, I congratulate you as the head of the legislature for the successful operation of this edifice, our national parliament's successful operation for 41 straight years. Back in 1982, when I first came into this city, one of the first things I did as a student was to go into the House of Assembly in downtown Port Moresby. Question is, why did I choose that institution as one of the first places to visit as a new visitor into the city? At that early age, I realized the importance of the House of Assembly, as it was then called. I knew that the National Parliament was the place where all our important leaders of this country got together and made all the important decisions that defined us as a country. So I wanted to go and see that place in operation. So one day I went there, earlier on in my first year as a student at the University of Papua New Guinea. And I saw some of our magnificent past leaders in business like Sir John Guise, Michael Somare, Yamba Cook, Peter Luce, and many of our illustrious past but deceased leaders in operation. And I came out of that building later having confidence that our country had a future. We have a house in which all our important businesses will be dealt with. There will be leadership, there will be control. We will have an orderly and peaceful society, something to look forward to, and something for a young person like me to work hard towards, to contribute to the process of building a new and young nation. That was the feeling I had when I chose to go and visit that place and then came out of it. I came out with a lot of hope. Now, later, we were given these particular premises to operate as a national parliament. And for 41 years, it has been operating very successfully, Mr. Speaker. This House symbolizes our nationhood. It symbolizes a democracy. It symbolizes all the values and the principles that go underneath, that tell us how to look after and govern this country. A very, very important institution. It also came along with its operating manual, Mr. Speaker. The building didn't just come like any other new product. It came with an operating manual, and we call that our national constitution. The constitution, as Seano has just alluded to, provides all the guidelines we need to meaningfully, responsibly administer our duties and responsibilities on the floor of this House. It was a symbol of the birth of a nation. The Constitution, which is the operating manual, also set out the powers and functions of the Parliament. It set out the powers and functions of the executive arm of government. It sets out the powers and functions of the third arm of government, being the judiciary. And, Mr. Speaker, most importantly, after having created all those three arms of government and giving them all their requisite powers and functions, it decreed by the Constitution itself that those three arms of governments must, in principle, be kept separate. They must not be interfered with each other. In order for an orderly, meaningful performance of their powers and functions, these three arms of governments must keep themselves separate from each other and from any undue influences. That is the direction we have, the directions we have on how to manage our duties and responsibilities outside and on the floor of this Parliament. So on an occasion like this, I posed a question, Mr. Speaker. For such an important guidance that's been given to us by the Constitution to keep the three arms of government separate, have we really lived up to the spirit and intent of those guidance that we have in the Constitution? Have we? I'm not going to answer that question, but the occasion calls for us to pause for just one split second and think about the question. Have we really kept the three arms of government separate, or has there been interference in multiple directions, all three arms interfering with one another for one justifiable or unjustifiable reason? Some encroachments, have they already happened? If the answer is in the affirmative, Mr. Speaker, now is the time, whilst pausing, to think about how we should reset ourselves, correct ourselves. How can we withdraw from interfering with each other, respecting each other, like some of the speakers have already spoken, so that each arm of government is able to perform meaningfully and productively for the collective benefit of the people of this nation. Our long-term objective through the work we do on the floor of this Parliament, Mr. Speaker, we have one country, one nation, one people. Our challenge as the leaders for the time being is to maintain maintain the stability of this country and its long-term sustainability. We can't just expect it to happen through a wish. We have to do all the little things that we have to do on a daily basis when we stand and sit on the floor of this parliament and conduct our discourses. Be mindful of the need to maintain stability in this country. Make this country sustainable for the long term, so that 41 years later from now, another group of young leaders will stand here and we're able to have the opportunity to make the same kind of speeches that we are making now, because they still have a nation that has been sustained for another 41 years through their time. We are here and we are saying all these things because leaders in the past have already done that. And we thank them for it and for all the magnificent contributions they have done. Of course, nothing can be perfect here on earth. Everything is perfect in heaven, but down here we will have our challenges and we will have our shortfalls. However, we have kept this parliament going for 41 years, this building. And we must make sure that this building is around for another 41 years for future generation of leaders. Along the way, I don't want us to bury the truth when we stand up and we talk to each other on moments like this. We must remind ourselves of the journeys that we have traveled. Have we traveled successfully? Have we traveled this journey this far without any challenges to our cohesiveness as a nation? There are indisputably challenges along the way we have faced. A classic example is Bougainville. So I'd like to ask myself, we don't know, I don't fully understand what the Bougainville issue is all about. But I would like to pose this, Mr. Speaker. Could it be because we are not managing this country right? Imagine if we did all things right, where everybody had a place and they feel proud of everything we are doing, and everybody wants to be an integral part of this nation, and the Bougainvilles too feel the same. Would they entertain that notion, that idea, that feeling of wanting to split from us? Would they? If we did everything right, as far as all our people are concerned, including our people of Bougainville. Maybe
this parliament. Many people seek such an office, such a privilege and such an opportunity, but only a few of us are able to make it to Parliament, Mr. Speaker, and to get a fourth term is a great privilege, and I don't take this privilege for granted. Every time I try my best to honor that mandate, honor that privilege, because it's not only a great privilege to be in Parliament, in this institution, Mr. Speaker, but to provide leadership and oversight of our people in this story of Papua New Guinea. And this Parliament, you know, is a manifestation of that story and journey of our people. And so when we come to Parliament, while we have our own aspiration and goals and parties and electorate, but we must, you know, first and foremost, remember that the role of this Parliament. This Parliament is a great institution, despite whatever, Mr. Speaker, is deficiency or inadequacy. It is what our founding leaders, Grand Chief Sir Michael Thomas Somare, Sir Right Honorable Sir Julius Chan, Sir John Guys, Sir Bial Oluwale, Sir Paul Lapun, so many leaders who have enjoyed this privilege, and especially our founding fathers. They had this great idea, led by Grand Chief Somare, that this, Mr. Speaker, sometimes I describe it as an impossible nation. An ambitious goal can come together and become a real nation. Can be a nation of cultures and tradition and our own different stories. All the tribes having their own, you know, stories about their heritage and ancestry and where they come from and how they travel, and so many different, you know, routes and journeys that we have traveled. But in 1964 and 68 in particular, going to the end of the 1960s and into the beginning of the 1970s, our leaders at the time made this decision to bring this nation of 1,000 tribes to come together and become one people, one country, and one nation. And this institution, the Parliament, manifests that noble vision and goal. And so when we come here, we must remember this first and foremost. I want to use this occasion to impress on all of us, those we are privileged to be here today, and those who are to follow us in the next 41 years and beyond. We must understand this. This anniversary, Mr. Speaker, also falls within our 50th anniversary. And if we look back, we've had highs and lows, goods and bad, so many challenges. But Mr. Speaker, this 50 years has been 50 years of nation building, trying to manifest this great dream to make it real. And it is through this Parliament that we must really uphold this golden vision to make this one nation, one country, one people become real. So it comes to how we conduct ourselves, the speeches and the debates that we hold here, how we, you know, express ourselves in the posture that we emit to our people. That first and foremost, we must uphold that vision. No matter we are in the government or opposition, or we agree or disagree, but we must debate with dignity and highest respect for each other, because we are still continuing this journey. Mr. Speaker, some of the countries in the world, they are not as diverse as us. They are more, monogamous, or what is the word? Having maybe one ethnic group or one language or even one faith, one religion. But you look at their history and their record, we can be proud that despite all our differences and diversity, we still relatively still strong, still robust as a democracy, still free, still here as continuing this journey of making this impossible dream become real. And so we should celebrate, we should mark this occasion, and we should strengthen it. And I would like to, at this juncture, acknowledge all the debates and expression that has been expressed by previous speakers, members of Parliament. Acknowledge all of them. Very, very important points that have made, Mr. Speaker. I want to also acknowledge and, give our highest respect to all our predecessors, members of Parliament since 1964, House of Assembly 1968, and since independence, 1977 up to now. Consciously or unconsciously, we have congregated here, they have congregated here to keep on this journey and bringing our people closer and closer together to be able to build this nation and make it greater and better, more prosperous, more successful into the future. That's the challenge that we face. And so at this juncture, Mr. Speaker, I too would like to contribute to how we can make this Parliament perhaps more sort of successful, or able to enable the leaders of today and tomorrow to be more productive, doing and performing our duty to the highest level. So I want to propose some points too that some of the previous members of Parliament have already mentioned. I think first and foremost, Mr. Speaker, we must maintain the supremacy of Parliament. This Parliament is the manifestation, and we are here to express the will of our people. It must maintain its supremacy. The Parliament too gives life to the executive. The Prime Minister gets his mandate from the Parliament, not the other way around. And so the proposal that Member for Abba has mentioned, we need to take this seriously, especially the committees. The committees should be the business of the Speaker. Because when we are in the committee, we are exercising the mandate of our people, vested as their representative, because everybody, 12 million or how many millions of people, cannot come to this Parliament. So they've vested their trust and confidence and mandate in us. So when we are in the committee, we are using the power of our people to bring accountability to executive government, or to the NEC, or to the bureaucracy, or to the provincial government, or to all the agencies of government. And so when we are going now to thinking about the next 50 years, Mr. Speaker, we must start to think about this reset. And I would like to ask to really seriously think about it. Think about the Parliament, this institution, maintaining the dignity of our people, the unity of our people, maintaining the progress of our people. I also want to suggest support to this proposal for us to have a bicameral system. Yes, there's a debate that governors should go back to the province. We can have that too. But at the same time too, the proposal to have governors become upper house, it's also a good proposal, because we can have check and balance on each other. Because sometimes, a lot of times, government, since I came in 2007 up to now, you may supporting government blindly because we are part of the government. You may agree or not, or something is right or not, just to make the government happy or the Prime Minister happy. There's no real check and balance in the Parliament. Option here, I'm legally number the solia. Now you play 15. You play can talk. Deputy option leader, you can talk. You man talk about the numbers by drowning. There's valid points play bladu. So if we have a bicameral, then the upper house is an opportunity to check on the decision of the lower house, whether it's about legislation or constitutional amendment or, amendment to organic law or the budget. The upper house has got a chance to revisit it so that decisions are made as much as possible in the interest of our people, considering all aspects. Now, number 3 point, I talk to and 10 minutes, sort of time. Since 1975, he coming up now. This parliament has largely been a union mantasol. And that must change. It must change, Mr. Speaker. You need to get a survey. You blow money to women should run equally, yeah? But reality in our country is against women. They don't own and make decisions over resources. In the family and in the clan and everywhere,
Bami must fair because maybe talking honorable member blah blah long finish him in 10 minutes. Now you go have us finish now, so you wind him around talk.
All right.
Thank
I'll
you.
just last 2 points or 3 points will I talk? Huh? Me got time yet, Mr. Speaker?
You got 4 minutes.
No.
3, 4. You extra go 4 minutes.
All right, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Plenty of member like to talk to them. We got plenty points. Me write him all points here now. Okay, thank you. Mr. Speaker, me to thank you for giving me opportunity to talk now. Let's mark this day and let's contribute to setting a strong foundation for the future. Thank you.
Honorable member Loyali Bupangia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Lord. You giving me this opportunity, Lord, giving me talk. Joining more Narbla member, Lord, Parliament, Lord. Congratulate him, Parliament, the Speaker, you yet. Joining more people, Lord, you me country. Lord, this Lahamas, also Parliament, Lord, you me established some 41 years. Me have master Lord display. Now, this time, maybe it's important that we recognize the efforts of many who've been before us in this House who have made this very possible. 41 years of existence in our nation, which is a challenging nation, Mr. Speaker. But we've been able to continue to maintain this as a shining example. It is an house that reflects our nation, Mr. Speaker. It's an example of the sort of democracy that we continue to adhere to and practice in our country. So, Mr. Speaker, it is important that you may look savvy on display. But also, Mr. Speaker, apart from it being a symbol of our nation, I think it also reflects many of our aspirations and diversity which reflects our country as a nation. Plenty you got plenty of different languages, cultures, Now, you got also plenty of different ethnic groupings, tribal groupings. But in this house, when our founders have created our nationhood, I think, it has served us well. We've been able to manage those challenges quite well, and we continue to maintain our unity as a nation, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, it is important that this Parliament and ourselves as leaders, we continue to maintain these values. Because as we are celebrating 50 years of our nationhood, Mr. Speaker, you must thank you and pay respect, Lord Founding Fathers, believe me, Mr. Speaker. Their vision and commitment to the nation has brought us this far, Mr. Speaker. Now, we as leaders, we have to continue to value those beliefs that our founders have and the vision that our founders have seen for our nation. And me looking also, Mr. Speaker, this Parliament over the many, many years has made some historic decisions that has shaped the nation itself. And of course, into the future, there will be more decisions that will continue to affect the way our people live and conduct themselves in the country. So, Mr. Speaker, I think that it is important that as leaders now, on September 17th of this year, it will be the first day for the next 50 years. The sort of decisions that we make today will be the stepping stone on which future leaders will continue to manage our nation. So some of the issues that we are discussing here today and over the past is, of course, going to be an important part of the future for our country and our people. So as we pay our respects to our founding fathers, Mr. Speaker, I take this opportunity to congratulate you and your office and the team that has arranged the statute for the founding father of our country, Sir Michael Thomas Omari. I understand that we are going to unveil that today. I congratulate you and on this very important occasion that this is happening. And I want to thank parliamentary staff and parliamentary committee, particularly Honorable Johnson Wapunai, who has worked closely with our friends in Indonesia to bring about this. And we welcome. And we welcome. It's only fitting that we welcome the people of Angkoram. One of their sons is going to have that honor in Parliament today, so we welcome them. And we also welcome our friends from Indonesia who are, I understand, with us on this occasion. So, Mr. Speaker, without their wisdom and the wisdom of our other founding fathers, we will not be a thriving nation as we are today. We have been existing as a united and nation for 50 years now. And sometimes we are hard on ourselves because of the global community that we live in and the improvements in the technology, and we start to compare ourselves with everyone else around the world. You look at the United States and Australia and all this, they've been in existence for hundreds of years. Hundreds of years. You look at the European countries, they've been in existence for thousands of years. So sometimes we are hard on ourselves thinking that we should get there so quickly. But they've built their resources and capacity and all these things for over those thousands of years. Before you saw online to also fight law. Place number blow too. Mi blatasol. So I think we need to sometimes pause and take stock of where we are and what we have achieved. As a nation, we haven't done so badly. We are easy to criticize and we are easy to blame each other. But we are always lacking to praise people and encourage people. So, Mr. Speaker, as a nation, I think sometimes we need to reflect on the things that we have done and things that we are going to do into the future. And, Mr. Speaker, one of the interesting points both other speakers have mentioned is about how we conduct ourselves in making decisions and formulating policies and framing legislation in this House. I've been privileged enough to be here for few years now. I came here as a young man with black hair. Now I will be retiring in the near future with a lot of white hairs and no hair at all. But I've seen, we've made mistakes. We've achieved a lot, but it can be done a lot better. When you look at places like England and where we inherited our Westminster style of government, and you look at places like Australia and even United States, Canada, there is accountability in the process that they have. Today we have 3 arms of government that our Constitution has provided for us. Very noble, but the functioning of it has not served us well, because we have overlapped each other's responsibility, and sometimes that makes a lot of compromises along the way. For instance, in United Kingdom, in England, you have the House of Commons, and you've got the upper house with the Lords, House of Lords, or whatever they call it over there. In Australia, of course, they've got the House of Assembly, and of course they've got the senators out there. Same thing in Canada and everywhere else. In PNG, we have only one parliament. Sometimes we find that, over the past and even present, we have had executive government in parliament, sometimes dictating terms. We can't deny that. That has happened in the past, and it will continue to happen into the future if we don't take stock. And what that does is compromises the parliament's authority as an independent arm of government.
Enjoy more talk, more text, and more time online with Telecom More Bundles. Choose from 8 plans ranging from 3 kina with 600 megabytes of data all the way up to 75 kina, loaded with a massive 35 gig. Best of all, each plan comes with an unlimited on-network call minutes plus on-net and off-net talk and text. That's way more time to chat with family and friends. Telecom More Bundles. Top up now.
From the mountains to the seas to global markets, the National Fisheries Authority proudly celebrates 50 years of growth. We're advancing tuna domestication, aquaculture, coastal fisheries, and sustainable fisheries management. Through stakeholder consultations, policy reforms, and stronger surveillance, we're protecting PNG's marine wealth and shaping a sustainable future. National Fisheries Authority. Sustaining our future, empowering our nation.
PNG's favorite soft drink now in bottles. Goldspot brings you fresh, bold flavors in brand new 500ml bottles. Taste the rainbow. More freshness, more flavor, more fun. Lime, orange, raspberry, and pineapple. Proudly made in PNG. Proudly Goldspot.
From humble beginnings 30 years ago, Daytech is now the largest communications technology solutions and services provider in PNG. We have intensified our solution and service offering with sound business practices and a strong affiliation with some of the largest technology providers in the world. Daytech does not only strive towards supplying goods with total customer satisfaction, but we innovate and provide value-added services. Daytech, innovative solutions, valued services.
The trend is really alarming.
Monday night on In Focus, we hold discussions with UNAIDS country director about the prevalence of HIV/AIDS in Papua New Guinea.
The latest statistics show that the number of new infections in Papua New Guinea has been steadily increasing in the last 10 years and has reached 11,000.
That's on Monday night.
They're gold nuggets. There's a flavor for everyone. The best tasting snack. Get a burst of gold nuggets. Cheese flavor.
Mega wow.
Chicken flavor.
Mega wow.
Cheese onion flavor.
Mega wow!
Barbecue flavor. Mega wow.
When you're on the go,
One more! One more!
Get that burst of Gold Nuggets flavor.
Mega wow!
And welcome back to all viewers on Stan Sport and the Nine Network to this Shute Shield Clash round 14. Sydney University versus Northern Suburbs. The halftime score, Norths lead 21-10. They have a player in the bin. It'll be a few minutes into the second half that they'll be a man short. University back onto the field, just waiting for Norths to get back into it. And the crowd, Nick, have enjoyed a pretty good game of rugby for this first 40.
Absolutely. I think they were holding the breath for quite some time there, the Sydney Uni crowd, as their team had 3 unanswered tries put on them, but they've fought right back. And it should be an absolute cracker of a second half. If Uni can just stay in control, Norths really need to pull in their discipline. It really could go either way. There's not much that splits them.
We'll see the use of the bench will be critical as well for both sides. You see that now. It's a 23-man game, to be fair. So how they use the bench will be interesting.
Yeah, and a lot more fresh reserves than what we're seeing. Obviously, back in the day, you'd have all your second graders come straight, sit on a bench. But, you know, the game moving into a professional era, definitely we're seeing more fresh reserves and a 23-man team that really needs to win.
North's coming back out after getting instructions from coach Zach Beer, who I believe has re-signed for Norths again.
26, yep.
And he's been a wonderful coach for the Shoremen, 2 grand finals in a row. He'll be obviously keen to get one with the victory this year, and his side looks good today. There's the magician, I guess, to be fair, for this afternoon. It's been a bit of a Max Bury show, hasn't it?
It sure has. Every time he gets ball in hand, he's dangerous. And
and the colonial administration at that time saw the wisdom in what they were fighting for, what they were asking for. And some said, some are still saying, that Papua New Guinea is blessed that we did not attain independence with blood in our hands. Maybe to a greater extent, that is the case. But for us in East New Britain, our people murdered in order to communicate the desire for independence. Iblarim, Check Emmanuel. With hindsight, people I regret him. National independence. Yes, those who perpetrated the willful murder of the then administrator, Jack Emmanuel, they served their time in prison. But I appeal to everyone here now. We can see the blessing. You may come inside, yes, you may come about long elections. You may come inside, long them through. Because leadership, we need to understand what political leadership is, what it really means in terms of contributing effectively to the progress of development in this country. We no can think also come inside the parliament, no money, no God. You may come inside, no lead him good all people believe me. You say fighting Borussia. But leadership, this tag leader, you mean like grab him long old people. Now put him in Borussia below you me. It's not that way. No God. You may lead also online leaders below you me in the past. They set a good example for us. You must be in him, kolosu through footsteps belong. We lead with respect. We lead with wisdom. Rurulong one man leader. You can think also me come inside no parliament. Na you me yet me grab him this la tag leader. Na me fight him put him no prosper you me no gap. No gap. Leadership comes not because you yet to put him no prosper you, but the people give it to you. The people pin the tag of leader to you. They follow through their following. Landilo you me. Now you will look him. You will complain law electoral commission. How we obtain power from our people. This is like instilled divine power belong on people. One man locals who are of voting age. Only got power. It is how we obtain power from them that makes you a leader. Because you come inside, you know, pulling power on all people, look, passing on good. You obtain it in the right way. Now you come inside. And it's not only that time, like you see power along all people. No, you come inside long this house. Come inside long this house. And it is how you use that power in public. Long government, long community to influence decision making. This is how you mean we need to do it. Nobody you may kissing power in the wrong way. Come inside. And how will you use that wrongly obtained power, rightly in parliament? You yet yourself. You can finish in the wrong way. You come inside, how will you use it? To influence decision making that benefits our people. And by harder. Now send me to finish. It's time you, me, all members of parliament. We must take after our leaders before us. They led with integrity. They led with respect. Nami pala, ulokata, imi look sabe long desala kind style leadership, very quality leadership, Mr. Speaker. Let's aspire and genuinely aspire to their quality of leadership. Now you may celebrating 41 years of the Salah House Parliament. Now, I continue to lament the fact that maybe I'll say this Parliament has no physical history. Because all House of Assembly only know preserving. We failed. And some of us, leaders now ought to feel guilty because we were involved in the demolition of the preservation of that House of Assembly. We didn't see the historical significance of that House of Assembly. No, preserving that was the first house in which all elders, believe me, all leaders in the past, they met and sat and made decisions to benefit you and me now. Now you miss Salim, you mean Bagarabi? Now you go there, you see something different. It's not the old House of Assembly where people are sampler, you go inside. Still timid, we went in there. We were introduced to the whole House of Assembly. And we saw these esteemed elderly leaders over there. Many of them. You see, same here. I always feel ashamed that this parliament, 41 years, does not have a physical history. All House in Pinis. Who removed it? Greed. Removed it. I Mr. Paulson. But me expressing this little appreciation, little bell hot to bell heavy. Also, me lose him. This is old House of Assembly. Yeah, you can come here now. You me talk. Plan something. Do plan long. Advance him. Development long this country and especially improve the quality of lives of our people. We've got to be in the right position, have the right frame of mind in order to lead this country that is blessed with resources. Like something like talk lang before missing round, please. All resources you may. We are floor parliament in came decision. Let's share our resources equally. There are some provinces, there are some districts that don't have the resources that some of you provinces have. Share him good. NEFC, kisim NEFC, nakamap good pala formula for fair distribution of the economic resources of this country, the economic benefits of this country. I think one time this Mr. Speaker, like talk. Thank you through the people of East New Britain province only talk. Thank you through long all former leaders below you me. Some of them are still alive. They are old. And people are some young people taking place below all. One time this God bless Papua New Guinea.
Honorable Minister of State Enterprise.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to join my colleagues in making my comments about the Parliament and the special and significant status it has in our community or in our country. Mr. Speaker, it is the constitution which we call a living constitution of this country, a homegrown constitution that was set up and introduced by our founding fathers after the Constitutional Planning Committee's report of 1974 was accepted. And it is the Constitution which establishes Parliament, as we all know. Mr. Speaker, we all say that you can never find a similar Parliament like that elsewhere, and indeed it is the case. And for a country of so many different ethnic groups, this is a special building that has witnessed the election and removal of prime ministers, and the election of speakers, election of governor generals, a very special house where democracy in our country has been practiced many, many years since it was built in 1984, I think. So, Mr. Speaker, if we had to look at the definition of a country, our country is very, very unique. If we take the example of countries, the old countries in Europe, like Britain, Germany, France, or Italy, they have one language. In England, you have English language. In Germany, you have a German language. Whereas in this country, we have more than 700 different languages, or 800 different languages, so to speak. So if we were to take the example of a country, one of the old countries in England, in Europe, for example, we have more than 800 different countries. And if we were to use language and custom as a guiding post to define a country, we have more than 800 different countries living under as one country. We are indeed a special country, a country blessed by God with so many resources, Mr. Speaker. And if we look at our geographical situation, we are located, half of us is Asia. The other half is where we belong. And we are the bridge to Asia and Pacific. We are indeed a special country, and it is through God that we have been able to survive this far. And Mr. Speaker, if you look at the history of England, for example, where the King of England, King Charles I, was beheaded by rebels led by Oliver Cromwell, England has come to receive this, one of the leading countries in this world, but it had its own history and own bad sides. We take the example of those little tribal fights, people killing each other and we think they are big, but if you look at the world scale, we are nowhere to the magnitude of millions and millions of people who died through many, many wars, even the many wars between England and France. So the Europeans, they say they started civilization, but they are the worst ones when it comes to mass murdering, mass genocide, poisoning, world wars, invention of chemicals, weapons of mass destruction. If we take this country on that scale, we've done very well, and we're in fact one of the best countries to live in the world. You don't get to see thousands of people being gunned down in one single day, in wars, We have our tribal fights, and we call them wars, but if you look at the world scale, we are indeed one of the luckiest countries. We should be happy and we should be proud of what we've done over the last 50 years since we became independent, since we ran away or escaped from Australia, so to speak. So, Mr. Speaker, when you look at the ethnic build-up and the complexity that we have in this country, I tell myself when I wake up that I must be one of the luckiest men on earth. We have everything going for us, and when you look at the class and the caliber of leaders we have in this chamber, I see a member, and I see myself being no better than the man next to me. We all came through a process, a very democratic process, and we are here to serve our people. And when you look at us in this country, we're a country of more than 10 million people, and where 90% of our people are unemployed, and where they rely on us, it is indeed a very challenging job. Being a political leader in this country, Mr. Speaker, in my opinion, is one of the most challenging and hard jobs in the world. Mr. Speaker, I must say that every fortnight I find myself sharing nearly 60% of my wages with my people. When there is a house cry back home, when there is a compensation ceremony back home, when some of my supporters and my people are centered in Port Moresby, I find myself having to spend my wages with them. And when we look at the kind of pay we get, a lot of our people assume that we are well paid. Mr. Speaker, that is not the case. We spend most of our wages with our people, and yet we do not complain. Even a country with no major infrastructures connecting our country, we still are able to serve our people very well. And I say, Mr. Speaker, all of us should consider ourselves lucky, and our people of Papua New Guinea should consider themselves lucky. We're indeed a blessed country. Despite all the prophets of doom, I think we have a very, very good future. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member from Warwick.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today I want to join in the debate and say maybe a few things. And before I do so, let me acknowledge the people from Angoram. Let me also acknowledge the leaders who have actually gone before us. We take this time to acknowledge and thank them for the leadership they have shown and brought this country this far. Mr. Speaker, today I will say a few things. I think we've had a lot of things being said today by our esteemed leaders, and I think most of them have made mention of some very pertinent points, and I won't repeat this morning. Mr. Speaker, I think the Parliament is in Tokpisin and Hausman, and we know the purpose of Hausman. The purpose of Hausman is to establish and propagate good rules and leadership for society. It is actually a cradle. It is actually a nursery where young leaders come in to learn good principles of governance. Mr. Speaker, our Parliament is actually the cradle for democracy. Now, democratic forms of government are actually quite young. Now, sometimes we take our form of government for granted, but there was a time when kings thought they had absolute authority from God. And it's not quite far in history. If you look at it, the French and American revolutions, and those governments were actually based on that, because they wanted to separate themselves from the church. Mr. Speaker, this morning I want to make a few points. You know, I've been in this parliament for 8 years now, and for these 8 years I've never prayed on this floor. Mr. Speaker, because I know myself and I know my people from Wabek. Some of them have good impression of me and some of them don't. And public prayer is something that ordained ministers to do. So one of the recommendations, Mr. Speaker, I want to make this morning is that, like the Senate in the US, if we can ask chaplains to come and do our prayers. Yeah. Number one. Number two, we should remove the Bible and put it in a chapel. Yeah. Because let's be honest with ourselves, we come here and we lie a lot. We lie in front of the Bible, and the Bible represents God. Maybe that's the reason why we have not made so much progress. We can't compare ourselves to Europe and other countries. Just look at Singapore. They will celebrate 60 years of independence, and Singapore is one of the most developed countries. And if you look at the history of Singapore, Singapore developed on a marshland full of mosquitoes. There was nothing, no resources, nothing at all. All they had was people. So maybe we should start to separate government from church. Mr. Speaker, maybe that's where all the cash is coming from, because we are lying in front of the Bible here. Mr. Speaker, thank you.
Mr. Speaker, point of order, statement law. Honorable member blow up, I can correct. But long to talk Bible, even I'm God and stand. That man am God and maki. Mistakenly me put in Bible long Parliament. We can talk local issue block country, but Bible and God and stuff. And what you mean? You can talk with one in one. You not can touch in Bible. God and stop them helping me. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Member Lowabek, you may continue your speech.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm just like thinking that's all make him now. Country go back, Mr. Speaker. We should allow the Bible to be in the church and allow pastors in the church to interpret. This is the house where leaders are supposed to be and make decisions. Mr. Speaker, from this house, we have the power. The people have given us the mandate to make decisions and act on decisions. So Parliament, Mr. Speaker, one of my also dissenting points is that maybe the Prime Minister should also remove his case, because cases must be made by pastors who don't have the power to act against corruption. Do you mean you make a power to act against corruption? Eh? It will be a lazy man's job to just come and cast corruption. We have the power. If we can't act against corruption, we shouldn't be here. Mr. Speaker, we can say all the good things about our government, but let me give some contrasting and contradicting points so that people can aren't nothing. One of those points I'm making things about in Bible. If we are to keep this Bible in this Parliament, we must not come here and lie. But we make a lot of lies, Mr. Speaker. That's the truth. Number two, if we can ask chaplains to come here and do prayers like they do in the most powerful country in the world, U.S. Senate, they have chaplains who come and say prayers. Because most of us here, we do a lot of bad things back in our electorates, and then when we come and pray, all man no place bellboys are cascas when they see us praying here. Mr. Speaker, we are leaders. We are not supposed to be here and paint bad pictures. Number three, Mr. Speaker, the role of the opposition. Mr. Speaker, someone has to be here to hold the government to account. This is a place where accountability must be promoted and supported. Suppose you go to one direction, put down on cliff. We are here to actually hold the government to account. And you plan on cross. It comes with the territory, yeah? When you come here and point things out, you must be leaders. No can come up with some beginning in complain go come and making kind of noise. If you don't want to be ministers, you should just allow the backbenchers to take your position. That's our role as leaders, Mr. Speaker. I'm houseman. Inside the houseman, you may straight in talk, now you may go outside and pipe or go, all right. If we don't say those things here, we can't order, we can't lead the nation properly, Mr. Speaker. We are coming towards our 50th independence, and I'm making this statement here. Mr. Speaker, long standing order 51, Amtokosem, interruption of members speaking. Let me read him again. When a member is speaking, no member may converse aloud or make any noise or disturbance to interrupt you, Mr. Speaker. When we celebrate this building, we have to consecrate this building once again. How people are making more something like, yeah, people of Papua New Guinea or looking or accepting, but people from other countries think that this is a playground or this is a classroom where students come and, behave. People come up with some lawyer, Mr. Speaker. Maybe after this program, that time we go next 41 years, you're celebrating this Parliament, now him go. You must bring him some kind of sensitivity back to Parliament. We must respect this House, Mr. Speaker. Another point, Mr. Speaker, I may like making him about him separation of powers. I think I'm second last point about me finish. Mr. Speaker, when our forefathers, when they wrote the Constitution, they saw the importance of keeping those three powers separate. Because if we allow one power to be more, to interfere in all other, bodies of government, the three branches of government, then there'll be no one to provide accountability, Mr. Speaker. So constitutional officers were put specifically for that reason, Mr. Speaker. Constitutional officers were put specifically to hold the executive arm of government to account. Mr. Speaker, now we see, ministers being appointed to head constitutional offices. And it's been done from this House, Mr. Speaker. When we don't have checks and balances in our system, country Mr. Speaker. So those things from this time forward, you must try long establishing back, you must correct them, Mr. Speaker. It's very important we have to do that. Now to conclude, let me just remind us, this House is the cradle of liberal democracy. And I will read to you the 7 principles of liberal democracy. Liberal democracy is about popular sovereignty, meaning that it's the people who appoint us to this House. The power we hold now belongs to the people. It's not our powers. Number 2, there must be free and fair election, Mr. Speaker. Free and fair election. You appoint a man good, come into the parliament, no other problem as the society. Number 3, the rule of law. We must establish the rule of law. Number 4, protection of, the rights and freedoms of our people. Number 5, separation of powers. Number 6, the independence of judiciary, Mr. Speaker. Number 7, there must be unity amongst the different diverse groups we have in this country, Mr. Speaker. Number 8, there must be accountability and transparency. There must be respect for minority rights and civil society and democratic participation in all forms of government. Mr. Speaker, to conclude, I want to reaffirm the words spoken by the Honourable Member for Sinasina Ngumu. Mr. Speaker, if we can't read the entire Constitution, we must read the preamble. The preamble lays the foundation for governance in this country. The Constitution gives us the powers that we enjoy today, gives power to this House, gives powers to all of us and all forms of government. Now, if we can't read the entire Constitution, I can't read the entire Constitution because I'm not a lawyer, but I can read the preamble. The preamble talks about equal participation and distribution of resources, Mr. Speaker. On the verge of independence, 50 years independence celebration, the country is very divided, Mr. Speaker. Let me say that. It's very divided because you got one group of people who seem to be enjoying all the luxury and privileges of this country, and the rest of them feel left out. Mr. Speaker, you must make him fair. You must sit on the opposition. One day you blow line lap, I'm sitting on the opposition too. Yaman, you see, Mr. Lakain talk to us and cash flow problem. Now you play depriving me of all development funds. No good. On the verge of independence, we know I want something by block or talk more people. We play talk more, so me plus unfair and I give him resources to some group of people. Now some blood sold me like him. What is there for you guys to tell the people on the independence celebration? The Constitution talks about equal participation and fair distribution of resources. We are here, we are not your enemies. We are here to hold you to account. remember the role the opposition plays in government. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Shai Luk Savelong, Honorable Governor of Central, Honorable Mary, Tubla Mary to some side, so let me talk to person. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. Makima's Lord people of the Central Province, now Mary is Hello Papua New Guinea. Me like contribute to this debate. First of all, me like congratulating you as you sit down as a speaker in this House of Parliament, the assistant deputy speaker and assistant speakers, and the staff of Parliament, clerk and all the staff of Parliament. Congratulate you on the 41st anniversary. We look several people Engoram come sit down in the public gallery today. Nami like acknowledge him, all get talk well senior leaders, national leaders, the parliament is making today. Plenty all good talk, na strong talk, le helping Yumi as political leaders of today, how by Yumi playing role play Yumi also elected leaders na serving all people play Yumi, each constituent and the country as a whole. So I acknowledge and respect also on behalf of the people of Central Province and the women of Papua New Guinea, the founding fathers and mothers of this nation. In particular, in mothers, I want to acknowledge Dame Josephine Abijah as a founding mother of this nation. I want to also acknowledge and pay respects to all of the prime ministers that has served our nation to today, acknowledging our Prime Minister Honorable James Marape today. It's very easy for us and the people to say all kinds of things, but I think that's the hottest chair and that's the most difficult chair. And so I want to acknowledge all of the prime ministers and their contributions to this nation. Similarly, I also acknowledge all the state ministers since to today for the role that they play, and it's very challenging. I'll get the governors too. Me look Savelo Yumi Sindanlo here. The provinces that you may run is a tough job. And of course, all the members of parliament. In 1974, when the Constitutional Planning Committee was putting together what is our constitution now and consulting with people, I think it was a tough job. But we recently had our Papua Governors Dialogue, and we had Dr. John Momis come and speak to us as a member of the Constitutional Planning Committee. And he mentioned the intent of the Constitution was for decentralization of powers, right back down to the provinces and to the local level governments. And in my view, since we got independence up until now, I think, amongst other things, I think the most important thing that we overlooked was empowering our people to meaningfully engage in development. That includes how they vote, voting responsibly. That includes them telling us through the local level government and the wards what their priorities are. And for us members of parliament to allocate resources according to what they identify at ward level as their priorities in an inclusive and participatory manner. So in doing so, we disempowered our people by not empowering them to be able to meaningfully participate in driving the development agenda at ward levels. I'm thankful that we have a project now with the World Bank and Government of Papua New Guinea, the Rural Service Delivery Program, which does exactly that. Goes back to the people at ward levels with the ward councillors, sitting down and talking to different sector groups about what is their priorities and eventually prioritizing them in order of priority from 1 to 5. And if you implement that, our people will have their most important critical needs satisfied. And so we have gone through a premier system which I thought worked really well. And then the 1995 reforms. Did we move? I think one of the biggest result of that was functions went down and money didn't go. And that is what we are faced with now at provinces and district levels. We have sectors that we need to deliver services to, but we don't have the funds. Once upon a time, you had DPI officers who went and did what they needed to do in agriculture. Extension services. Now you don't have them. There was a time we had commodity agencies doing extension work. CIC had an extension arm, a whole arm of CIC was performing extension functions throughout the coffee-growing provinces. And so definitely, decentralization, we have to look at it, continue to look at it critically, because therein lies the development and the unity of this country. And so I'm hearing about upper houses and lower houses and the suggestions. But I think we need to have a group that really looks at all of these different suggestions that we are making, because as Arno said, we adopted a Westminster system. The culture is theirs, and we left the culture, or well, some of the culture is here, but it's clearly diluted by our own culture here. And so, what is the form of political structure that best suits Papua New Guinea? And I know we are making waves, and I commend the Minister for provincial government, provincial and local level government, and his staff for what they're doing. The governors have already, through the Governors' Conference, National Governors' Conference, have already made our recommendations. And so those are things that I commend the government is already doing, but, going forward, amidst all of the fast-changing environment within the country, we need to be thinking about this thing seriously and considering all of the options that we have. But I think the fundamental point I want to make is whatever system we go through, it has to be unique. It has to reflect Papua New Guinean context. We can't borrow from somewhere and copy-paste, because we saw that 1995 reforms hasn't worked. And so being a governor of Central Province and being right there with the people on the ground and having an administration that implements us, political leaders, all the way down to LLG and wards, the administration that should move, I'm making these comments based on my short experience of 3 years in Parliament. But I want to now move to talking about women in Parliament. This is the 11th Parliament, and we've had two consecutive terms in 1992 and 97. 1992 to, 1987 to 1997, 2 terms of parliament where we did not have women represented on the floor of parliament. And in 2017 elections, we had no women from 2012 elections, we did not have women in parliament. So that's 3 terms in 11 parliaments that we did not have women as political leaders. Before I came into this parliament, there was a time that I did research and consulted relevant government departments and agencies of government as to why we couldn't have enough reserve seats, why reserve seats was not apart from numbers, whether numbers, I mean 2/3 majority to pass the bill, why we could not, why was it so hard to have that? And I was surprised to hear that there was not enough space here in the chamber to accommodate women at that time. Subsequently, when we started creating new seats for open members, it shocked me that we did have space, but we did not consider bringing women into parliament. And so, during the history of our political journey, we've only had about 10 women, 10 or 11 women, including the 3 of us who are in parliament now. It's really hard to get women onto the floor of parliament. Elections, as Member for Rabal was stating very clearly in no uncertain terms in how we do elections out in the field, it makes it hard. Of course, custom and narco something where something hard law very law come inside law parliament. I mean, custom meaning our culture. So, on the 50th independence anniversary and on the 41st anniversary of the Speaker and the House of Parliament, we need to be, as leaders of today, we need to be thinking seriously about how do we increase the number of women? How do we get more women on the floor of Parliament? And let me share an example with you in terms of how customs are play a big role. I had to consult with all of the chiefs of Luelala to be able to make them understand that coming into Parliament is not about women taking away your chieftaincy role and responsibilities. This is a Westminster system. And I had to explain what that means for them to understand. So coming here and hearing the word houseman used. Houseman is used out there in cultural context. Now you may come here and you may use the houseman. Automatically I feel left out. And I'm not supposed to feel that. And I think that is one of the terms that we need to rethink. Is this houseman? It's supposed to be a parliament where it represents the people of Papua New Guinea, 50% of whom are women. And so I wanted to just make that observation and at this time. So my recommendation is, I'll just make one recommendation. There's already a lot of work happening on decentralization. I won't say any more about that. In terms of the recent Papua Governors Conference, we've already made our statement very clear, which is to support our provinces so they become independent, they become economically, financially independent, And we will do that ourselves through economic integration and all of that, but we're also looking at government in terms of some of the recommendations that have already been made through the Governors' Conference.
Honorable,
On the case of women, we finish now.
Honorable Governor, interrupting you. We all have 10 minutes to say what we must say. Now, you are Bruce, this time we are Bruce, so you round him up.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So, Losai Blolmeri now, Bami like talk of them. You got 3+ seats appointed or nominated seats and staff. So, during this term of Parliament, Bami Kisim Kam Montla suggestion, lo how by you may look la display. 3 nominated seats. So suppose we talk several all members of Parliament now that there's already work done on how we want to those 3 women to be nominated. So in due course, when we are presenting them at some time, we will probably raise it as a matter of public interest. But in terms of actual how to have those women, how to bring it to the floor of Parliament, that's also been worked out as well. So at some point I will be bringing it forward. Thank you very much, Speaker, for giving me the opportunity.
Honorable members, before me, Maki Wonbla, Speaker Ken, Honorable Member, la talk, me like talk clear also, email sem. Time you me allocated, ma'am, 10 minute. So you try and put him talk you inside lo this 10 minutes. You plug in the screen, you plug half side screen lo have I'm timing start. Online half side you look the screen I'm timing stop 10 minutes stop. So as you speak, time will come down because you me that planning program outside na by go afternoon and long day. So no good by you me kirap lo 1 o'clock so also na me making this a talk so can all members like to talk. Thank you. Deputy Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to stand here on the eve of the 41st anniversary to contribute to congratulating the House. 41 years ago, on August 8th, Mr. Speaker, 1984, the doors of this magnificent building were officially opened by His Royal Highness Prince Charles, now King Charles III. It's a very proud and historic moment for Papua New Guinea. The new Parliament House was more than just a building, Mr. Speaker. It represented the maturing of a young democracy. But more important, it was maturing and united of 1,000 tribes in such a diverse nation. But it also was a commitment to charting our own course as an independent nation, guided by our forefathers in the likes of Sir Michael Somare, Papa Blokandre, Sir Julius Chan, and many others. So Milo take you through, it's fitting that online law, flesh law, Sir Michael or two or Kamsina, na mito, may acknowledge him, you plasina anta the gallery today. Mr. Speaker, design the National Parliament House is a fusion of not only modern architecture, but traditional architecture, incorporating all our cultures and values. It reflected the house Tambrand of the Sepik region, symbolizing our cultural diversity and the unity of many, many tribes and provinces. It was built by local and international construction partners under the guidance of our then national government with support from the Australian government. The goal was to establish, the foresight was to have a permanent, purpose-built seat of democratic governance, one that would reflect the soul of Papua New Guinea, the heart and soul of our nation. Mr. Speaker, before this Parliament House, our lawmakers met in the old House of Assembly building. This earlier building, in use from the pre-independence era through to 1984, was a humble setting. But it was in that chamber that many of our founding fathers debated and shaped the foundational laws of our nation. It served our people well during a pivotal chapter of nation building, particularly around and after independence in 1975, Mr. Speaker. Since the establishment of a parliamentary democracy, Papua New Guineans have had the privilege of being guided by the stewardship of distinguished speakers of parliament Let me acknowledge some of them who have served in this esteemed role, Mr. Speaker. Sir Barry Holloway, our first Speaker, Sir Kingsford Dibella, Sir Dennis Young, Frederick Kingsley, Sir Dennis Young, Sir Rabi Namaliu, Sir John Luke Critton, Sir Moya Ave, Jeffrey Nape, Theo Zurino, and yourself, Mr. Speaker. Like you, these are some of our leaders who took up the role and before time in this honorable House. I want to also acknowledge those who have served as Speaker, which I have not mentioned earlier, both in an acting capacity or a permanent capacity. As of 2025, our Parliament has completed 10 full parliamentary terms, as it is now in its 11th term. These terms have shaped the legislative framework of our economy, Mr. Speaker, education, health, land, environment, and governance. This is a House where we make laws for the foundation of our country, of our children, and of our future. Mr. Speaker, today we not only celebrate this building, but we also celebrate the institution of Parliament, the heartbeat of our democracy. As pointed out by many speakers here today, pointed out our flaws, made critics, constructive criticism, and urged a pathway forward for the future of the nation. Through this House, we have debated differences, scrutinized governments, and also represented our people from the various regions of our diverse country, from the highlands to the islands, from the coastlines to our riverbanks, from the valleys to the seas. This Parliament House has seen moments of great unity and times of robust disagreement. But that is the essence of democracy, which remains constant in our shared commitment to building a stronger Papua New Guinea for us all. As Deputy Prime Minister and Member for Lae, Mr. Speaker, I take great pride in being part of this living institution. When we were all small children, everyone who came here to Port Moresby, the first thing they wanted to see was a national parliament. It is a symbol of democracy, a symbol of pride, Mr. Speaker. And I was very privileged to stand outside and visit Parliament House when I was a small boy. And now very privileged to be standing and representing my people in this very esteemed House, Mr. Speaker. I salute all current and former members of Parliament, speakers, staff of the parliamentary services, and the people of Papua New Guinea who give this institution its purpose. This is why we represent them. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the people of Lae, the government of people and of Papua New Guinea, I extend my heartfelt congratulations to the National Parliament House, yourself, and your staff on its 41st anniversary. May it continue to stand as a house of wisdom, unity, and progress for many generations to come. Let us all commit ourselves in upholding the dignity of this House and honoring the legacy who came before us. And also let us work in unity for the betterment of our children for many decades to come. God bless this honorable House, Mr. Speaker. God bless Papua New Guinea. And our congratulations once again. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Me look at me, plenty members enough, but let me ask him, Honorable Governor Loenga, make it talk well for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Need to join him all honorable leaders playing me, lo country. Long firstly, congratulate him immediate. Lo display 41-year celebration lo display building Parliament Brahimi. Mr. Speaker, me fortunate long stop as a governor for a long time. Not to me been got little work one time all former leaders, so me been got some inside all leaders before, so we feel him or same good time. Long talk little today. Mr. Speaker, this building I'm celebrating them because the film was in 41-year celebration. That's all. And more important because I'm 50-year independence lo Papua New Guinea. I think I'm good plan lo look on display building. Yes, I'm on the unique building. Lo side lo architecture. It's supposed to be looking also all previous speakers you talked it's one the unique building in the world. Now you may organize a pride on display building. I think a more important long looks away of them. Yes, building him good plan. That's one of something product come up law leaders on slab. Parliament and very important. On this occasion law 50 years, I think now you're celebrating 41 years law display building. Blow me, it's like Parliament blow me. Me like him asking me at leaders today, I think I'm important some blow me all seniors long. You can ask him me. 50 years now, suppose you know, look good like me yet. How you may travel long? Last 50 years you come. Now you mean of trading good or laying good the foundation long next 50 years. And by me miss him. This responsibility blow you me. Awesome leaders blow this country. So the experience blow me, Mr. Speaker. Me been fortunate to work on them late set about. Me been staff leader block opposition. Me losing school or 76, me go work on them, me go 76, you go 78. Now me got privilege long look him. All Papa blame me, all chiefs blame me, all leader blame me, all for home long. This time. This time me look him, all this leader here, all he got pride there. Representing people bloom. Want to something me can look him? This time, I'm only got integrity. All this leader man, or some previous speakers, some honorable members he talked finished, all look at this level of education. That's what also have a good responsibility belong. Lord, this time. Let's say about because me walk one time, me looking about belong him. Now me sit down and me go sit down here and time me talk me glass and walk blow me yet, Mr. 28 years. And me looking more say me a Bruce Ligli. On this time I'm leader so me looking leadership belong him and perform law Parliament, Assembly, House of Assembly this time. I'm survey also, I'm legislator. You go to place, I mean, no go on, I talk long projects. Every opportunity I got, then been go to place. I'm talk long, when him can law by come up on next Parliament. I'm work to try to educate him, all man, after church, when he can boom, he come up. So me looking was I'm survey on this road blong. Road blong him no pass him law, but him must go in between. Go ask him more people now, educate him more long law. Come back. Case him thinking more people now, him been stop legislator long Parliament. I think Mr. Speaker, maybe I put in this plan little. I mean good plan me honorable members of Parliament look on this plan. First job lo me long legislate. You may stop law one legislature. So me like losing thinking of assembly so that people are honorable members. Most of you are young leaders who are coming up. You may must thinking law writing law now concentrate. Now thinking long how big our country should be, how progressive our country should be into the future. You mean you can get this thinking long way, this thinking long inequality, now all this plus something come up because we are focused now in this last 10, 12 years about projects and money. That's why we are now talking about inequality. Before no good man, no good leader he complained on this plan because the systems were working. Systems were delivering. Now, Honorable Speaker, Miller Torkelson, we reach one crossroad where you know looking all quality leaders sit down on this parliament. Mindset of people blame me looking member or some legislator. Mindset of people think also me project managers. Each tribe wants to take control of 10 million kina. So only no look long leadership also have voted before. Now to the house line that talk by only controlling this 10 million. Every year for the next 5 years, so only 50 million. And now lo election, now you looking Brisigo. Only no fight lo come up leader and a good leader of parliament, no God. All fight to 10 million there. So Mr. Speaker, through you, Mr. Prime Minister, I think we have to find a way to allowing funds to still go to the districts, but you got system working. You got a province system working. You mean leader machine writing law, providing leadership to the country. And I also want to say this, Mr. Speaker. We have to not look inwards and think small. We have to think big about how great our country should be. So, lo experience below me looking, lo tamblo late set aboli coming up now. Me feeling also me yet to me guilty on this plan. Me total the project to mass. Me no go around lo total one more people, educate them all. Lo one them nubla law come up. I have in fact not even talked about any new laws to my people. And I feel guilty. Because I'm sitting on here, me thinking back lo sete abol lo work blame na me think me abrusim work blame me. So me asking me ogara lo work number one work blame. Time all bills come lo here. All this law all blame member also carry this all bill go back long. People talk to one them all asking all one is saying all thinking now also come back now working law stuff. So one was sending me like Dr. Gonbo Speaker because I feel that so it is about time. Now 50 years now. You mean leader, you mean down here, you mean enough stuff over time. Some of us are lucky to be here for a long time. Some play no now. But you mean over go long place here. A place you must have all right. And the way to make the place all right is this parliament. You mean you got opportunity to make him this country better. So as always, Mr. Speaker, this parliament, you may must own up, you may must. Now in 41 years, I may celebrate long this parliament, believe me, but more importantly, this is 50 years of independence. And good time long, look the future long. Pini blah, you be in the country blah me. So you must have also this blah also parliament or parliament blah you me. In a sacred place and one blah place where you may over come, you may boom, and the water country blah you me stop. So Mr. Speaker, suppose you may rule the country blah you mean over time you may be critical and talk straight. Look, something go abuse, and we are not doing favor to this country. So me like Mr. Speaker, talk was this house, especially this plus seat you, Honorable Speaker, you see now no man. Plan Speaker, I talk with how important the chair is. In the past, we've had some challenges. This law challenge been come up here. You may say finish. You may plant it along here. You may 3 terms, 4 terms. You may sit down on this parliament. You may say finish. Suppose something you been go wrong. You may must correct him. You may must correct him. You may not can hide him stuff. So through you, Honorable Speaker, me think also Prime Minister, important law you may making sure also plenty Speaker to look finish, especially the Honorable Sir Puka Temu. Emi talk lo this la speakership. Speaker, you must stop independent. Now this office must have you yet controlling parliament. Lo like blow you and very important. We have been fortunate so far to come this far. But suppose you look at history, we almost lost the country. Because you mean the system blow you may been compromised. Suppose you may been compromised. You may must talk straight and straight. So you mean not going to talk all something all right? Something you go back up line, you must fix it. So I think plenty of speaker to talk finish. I think important the Prime Minister take him note on this plan or something, you need to correct him so that in the future, office from speaker can come up more neutral. Now M can discharge him duty belong M independently, yeah. And it was something M must control him. Time you may come up with 50 years to Mr. Speaker. You may got attitude blow people in the Senate finish. Attitude blow people Senate now. Going forward, it's going to be very challenging for leaders of this country.
Honorable Governor Blenga, with due respect, but 10 minutes for you and we finish now. You will have Russian now, so you.
And the right speaker, make it stop here. Thank you.
Me look savvy la planning member election up, but honorable member block up, I will stand up, so me give him opportunity to talk for person. Honorable member block up.
Thank you through Mr. Speaker. Give us a lot of time to talk. Mr. Naplong, the time to na meeting or something. Frontier Larib, na give all backside like this to talk. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Me too contribute to talk how much. Honorable Honorable Speaker, ito talk finish. Mr. Speaker, congratulations come to you na on House, this honorable House. Now I'm 41 years old na. Sa plan sa Drimban lo kamsiran lo this honorable House na me too one block no. But me to thank you lo pure lo me lo kapa. Lo give me this opportunity lo me can come serve Makimol lo this House. Also me too how much too lo stop one time. Members of Parliament which have been served 3-4 terms na same experience law na lead lawmaking decision or serving the country going forward. Mr. Speaker, me too will share some experience law me before time Yambloman time stablo place early 80s. Come some system law government me stop also when I'm coming up now. We'll concentrating talk blomelo side law systems of government where now we got forms of government, but system of government is some 3-tier system. We got national government, provincial government, a third level government, which will LG. Till the time of the 1980s, Mr. Speaker, we looking at more councillors, I'm also a work. Vibrant, only got money, staff law, making work. You will look at provincial members, Lomipla is the time, some constitutional member, only staff House of Assembly now. Some only some total House of Assembly, plenty good debates have come up with this time. You may got the premier system staff, where you may got premier staff, you may got opposition leader staff, you may got all ministers, 2 staff inside law, House of Assembly. Now, provincial government is the time, I mean vibrant straight, now you may got all public servants. All you operate one wards na inside the district and more plenty stuff. Me as chairman law constitution law reform commission me round law city for report me play round and making work me go to plan up lo country. Now me play time to fill in pulse lo government. Was some government now this government and staff me work with that. I mean people play me play lo pleasure play filling government no that. No plan complain me come. All councillors lo mipla kirap na complain na dog mipla third level government staff. Taso lino kat look sabe lo national government come down lo mipla. Lo help mipla lo making work. So you play like mipla by staff sem this la part lo government or you mura sem third level government. So all this la kind question sem only imi socialize na talk mipla. Sem sila system sa work lo. Mipla lo harim na sim tindin lo all lo sabe this la system me work no imi staff lo ya. You may talk longer or something, but actually on the ground, whether one policy we make him here long and more people he feel him one okay. So during this chiri for consultation we go long and plenty talk only make him. Now only third level government, provincial government system, every no work, no got public servants inside law ward, inside law district, no got. So time will possible health centers blom in staff lo one council would not be bagara finish. Policeman no got. So I'm some plan heavy and staff now some the plenty debate contribution I'm to talk line or some hard reset. Me almost this is the right way forward and the plenty governor too. It's a plenty time or some provincial government staff. Me plus CLRC staff na you miss have talk lo halo pa ni right lo way lo. System lo government we saving people lo me pla. So I'm now we come 1995 we come also this la nupla reform staff. Mr. Speaker lo talk straight lo this honorable house it's not working. It's not working so you may need lo send him sample something. You know send him all get up but send him sample something. Sample to talk also mo CLRC like changing provincial government system. How about changing provincial government system? This la emi say me corner post the system Westminster system you may got. National government staff, provincial government staff, LLG staff. Now this la system lo government stuff where you can't make a big change and this like Mirono get us. So this like thinking good right. But report lo mipla and lo how bambla is fine tuning and strengthening this la system. So time we play around and make him awareness lo mipla, Mr. Speaker. All the people you talk, you may go back and all plus system. All plus system and you work. So you may go back and all plus system and let us laugh by you look at the provincial government, you may got now governor, you may come in the national parliament. Governor now justice debate or some governor blow him to some let him governor go back and the provincial government. You may stop laugh. Yeah, must this level blow good plan neck some now governor will go to my let him governor the Latin into and stop capsule report blow me blah. Well, governor must go back and the province and stop was some premier system is working. So let him governor go back and stop the province one or some premier system and we work. You may go back to have all got is a speaker of law staff, opposition staff. Then now you may got LLG president. Formerly it's some constitutional member. It's just the name of change. So you put him all go back and some constitutional member and then all councillors and most of them make it work. Now me like talk thank you and congratulate my minister of law, provincial and local level affairs law bill last time me passing. I'm crying law people now councillors law place. So me talk some TV all councillors watching me staff law wanna have you staff. I'm crying law you apply work law CLRC where you may work one time partnership one time provincial and local level government affairs where now me come up with some law and now by some money where you mandate by time you go talk because they are the front line of leadership on the ground. So time will go na talk nothing. Now only make 1+7 people talk, hey, you member the leader now can't have the slip, you make one. Then all time will box side no got money lo help more legally something so plan your councillors lumpla trangu. All same but all holy leadership next time. So now the same you make him the addition help him on. Have a boost morale blow and they'll be actively on the front seat, never making work. So time me come back also provincial government system, Larimol governor, so she play agree report, establish City 1 report, may play adaptive Kamlo City 4 report now, which I'll table it in Parliament very soon. So time we table him this like we can socialize and discuss this time. And you must make him sample decent. Times has changed, he's 50 years old now, so it's a Bible to him to all say, you know put him nupla wine, you go and say Lord Law wine skin, never brook here. So this is a generation now you will stuff. I'm all plenty of nubla generation when mindset law am different. Time to become in room for time now, so you must send him law. So now time in am right. Okay, you need to talk less about bicameral system. Now you mean unicameral system is the bicameral system too, capture the report. Governors, you go start premier, you by still come to this upper house now by bicameral system, you introduce him, so you will have the governors will have the upper house and then lower house, so will no more member by staff. So any decision of the executive government of the day, they will be checked at ballots. So I was you got this bicameral system too, you must introduce it. So the site was sit on the parliament. And you can use him to the same parliament. Lower house can use him to the parliament, long blood time. The next day, if I got another time, upper house will sit down and discuss the progress in decision block government. So me So me like making little contribution to me, this side time has come. We have to make a change. That of the side, there was some side election of Prime Minister too. Prime Minister now, Mr. was some tintin blow. City for report, some people were voting Prime Minister, or you make him some things within the current system. So those people were voting Prime Minister. Then you mean Parliament now, so you can make him use him one kind of system or somehow you make him Governor General. Parliament, but vet him, who said him leader of leader, lo flop lo Parliament. Now you give more people so 4 plus 5 plus man. All put him hand up and run us some PNG open. So time make more some you cut him plant where seeds of resources where you go hold him camp, now you make him kind of kind number. I'm sorry, this is orienting was some programs department now. Little politics in the department and kind of also can think too. You must ready to accept him now you may move forward. So one time this love me to thank you me Speaker Hamas law. Leadership law you now some congratulations law for the second 41 years old law, said law Parliament. Thank you.
Honorable Governor of Long West Britain.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sorry, lo compete one time. Over the senior mipla respect him. Some seniors you go past na behind mipla like come. Speaker, it's with deep gratitude and humility. Me raise law for big congratulations law 41st anniversary of Parliament. Me like acknowledging you now all the past speakers, now prime ministers, all the former members, law contribution belong all law you may witness symbols and now law 41st anniversary blow this law Parliament. Mr. Speaker, what a privilege now honor law me law representing people below me law. West New Britain, irrespective of my color or race or religion, all Makimina Selim come law representing more. Now I'm truly blessed and honored to represent my people and to serve them. This is a great privilege. I wish to thank all my people, especially our tribes from Bakovi, Nakanai, Unia, Malyu, and Arawe, and entire Papua New Guinea, because Papua New Guinea staff of West New Britain, all Makimina Mikam. Mr. Speaker, I am a true testament. Speaker, I am a true testament to the vibrant democracy of Papua New Guinea. And our inclusive spirit enshrined inside law, Constitution of Papua New Guinea. Mr. Speaker, what a blessed country Yumi got. Big man and bless him, all of the something, lo Yumi lo abundance. Whether ground fertile, Yumi got Gutla water, Yumi got Gutla forest, Gutla salwara, everything in abundance. So I'm big responsibility, stop lo, all the leaders, stop lo here, lo protect him. This la abundance, na give him lo future generations lo Yumi. Mr. Speaker, Yumi work lo tok lo leadership. Even before this la colonial power, Yumi come. All the ancestors lo here, leading this la country one time. Custom na culture lo here, Yumi got house by system, Yumi got village chief, all maintaining order na peace inside lo. Community lo Yumi lo 1-1. Mr. Speaker, me strongly believe also, leaders are not born. Leaders are trained. In fact, all the staff lo this la ground. You me 1-1, all the leader because life lo you me 1-1 and touch him na influence him life lo naraplaman. Time life lo you influence him life lo naraplaman, you are a leader at your own capacity. So definition lo me lo leadership. Now Mr. Speaker, me like talk to also. Time you me destroying this la 3+ something, you mean by destroying country. Number one, suppose you me destroy him, role lo mama lo society lo you me. Now you me insult him, now you me no respect him. Al mama lo society, this la society or country and by destroy. Number two, suppose you me no respect him all role all teachers, especially teachers in educational institution. Then this la society to and by destroy. Number three, suppose you me destroy him leaders of this la country. Then this la country to destroy. Mr. Speaker, all the time you say all people they can easily say this la leader me corrupt. Also bagrapimol to an extent, it no got one man like the enemy. So time you imagine, Mr. Speaker, time you know got good mothers in our society. Time you know got good teachers law society. Now you know got good leaders law society. Then usa through by showing well future population blow you, future leaders blow you. So time you me destroy this la 3+ something. Country by destroy. Society blow you me destroy. Mr. Speaker, you know save time all save talk also politics. You must be a very rich man, you must be kind also tough. Na this la kaina. Politics am sacred. Why am I sacred? Because the food we eat, the quality of the air we inhale, or the quality of water we drink or food we eat. I'm all got something and politics by deciding. This is like house by deciding. One in policy we make him look here, and by deciding the quality of our air, the quality of our water, and the quality of our food. So this like house and one plus sacred house, we treat him this like house also one plus temple. Of course, it's a temple of democracy. Mr. Speaker, me Savarim all got the time leaders flow. You me all got the time like comparing Yumilo Singapore. Mr. Speaker, look him attitude blow people blow you time Papua New Guinea, you go, you drive, go. PMV driver and by down in glass the solna. Even any driver also a spitty mark side. Also a throw my rubbish side. Time you go to Singapore, you by discipline through. You no throw my on plus something. You chew one plus something, you hold him packet blow you. Paper you by packet blow you. Because also suppose I'll catch him you. All by sticking you, all by fining you. So this la fear him stop long. Because of this like disciplinary laws where he got long end. Maybe now through whether I camera work or work, but mentally we are prepared. Time you go to Singapore, you say also you must behave. As soon as you come to Papua New Guinea, you by drive car na, just throw my own boys key no, you say throw my rubbish na, without any care. But then we talk about we want to compare with Singapore. You like compare one time Singapore, then you may change my attitude. Yeah? You may change my attitude, then you may by come up also from Singapore. Yeah? The greatest discovery in our generation, Mr. Speaker. If you change your attitude, you can change your life immediately, on the second, at any point of time. You may look into also, you may got one kind sick, this la, as much as it's a proud word, talk also one talk, but this la word to bring him some kind also self-interest na, nepotism na. You may win come, time all work lo come na, ask him lo help him, people like come. Mr. Speaker, why my people always likes me is, I treat everyone equal. Everyone is equal to me. Like in front of me or when they come. Minus I look him all below Talasia, all below Sipik, all below Highlands, everyone is equal. But some time you may lead us to you miss a thing also. Also talk also, oh, you know what you mean. So why me by Alvim you? All by Rausimulo, office belong all of this life. Time you me kiss him mandate now you may come. We supposed to treat everyone equal. Like in this house also. You may all get the mandated leaders. Everyone should be treated equal, whether in government or in opposition. I remember one time I said, every time all newspapers were quoting me also, sitting in opposition is not a death sentence. Speaker, when now me amamas to look him, Minister Sore asked him, pass him law also, irrespective of when I'm up, you sit down, and put him this funding and also one mandated funds, lot 2 plus side one time. So these are the reforms you need to make him. Speaker, another something too. You should ask him, people all the time, stand up na, vote. Minus avelo one principle belong, maybe you like Olshem, you talk Olshem, you play money enough, no, stand up, no work. But some time, me looking lo Parliament, lo narapla hapia, you got button lo here. One play red button stop, now one play green button stop, now one play yellow button. Suppose me pressing red, me talk no. Suppose me pressing green, me talk yes lo this la bill. Suppose me pressing yellow, I'm also me abstain lo this la. So this la I'm giving some kind security or safety or one something where you play make him also suppose 2 plus 3 plus month should send up now get look strong also me play enemy or some kind something. So we must bring our democracy to that maturity where by click of a button, Prime Minister to talk electronic system, AI system come inside the Parliament. That will give us that privilege. Lo pressing button ta solna make him decision lo me plan lo talk savelo you. Mr. Speaker, I enjoyed my first term 2012 to 2017, Mr. Speaker. It was a great honor and privilege. We had all the 4 former prime ministers in the house at the time. We had Grand Chief Somari, we had Sarmek, we had of wisdom we learned from them during their discourses, during their debates. That's a great privilege and honor we need to preserve and respect our elders. Sometimes we see ways. I enjoy the debate from Sarpuka Temu all the time. He speaks with wisdom. I enjoy the great debate from Governor Chris Ivata, Governor Paco. All the seniors, they always comes with great wisdom. Mr. Speaker, I'll keep it within 10 minutes. It's a rare privilege we come here to represent our people. And if our intention is genuine, irrespective of one-kind place or one-kind tribe you come, if people also look one intention blow you. Now, altu man all can feel him also. You come on time on good heart or you got some kind hide thinking. So this line by deciding victory blow you. Now two time all elect him you. Why all get that time you miss a worry low, talk low. Winning next election is more important. Misa Harim, plenty senior senior leaders have talk also. Focus low 2027. Time me come low 2012. Lecture me kisim. Focus low 2017. Behind 2017 me come all talk no got. LNG money in on upload straight him na. You focus low 2022. Behind all talk you focus low 2027. Dinner by finish na you may buy kisim big plan money na this kind. I think we should not worry about all these things and we should really work for our people. Mr. Speaker, we have to truly believe in the potential of Papua New Guinea. Even big man too, you know, bless him you me. Suppose you me no got this belief. Rain fills the size of the vessel we hold. Suppose you me only want a liquid vessel, and rain water and pull down this liquid vessel, and you me collect him liquid water. Suppose you me kiss him big bucket, big container, and you me kiss him big water. So I strongly believe in the future of Papua New Guinea. So you me must believe in also, and this country has a great future for all of us and for all our future generations. And Mr. Speaker, I sincerely thank the great privilege and honor to give this 10-minute speech. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, first of all, I'd like to thank you, Lord Siran Lucia, you steering me for this birthday. I want to also register my commendations to all who have spoken before me. I was edified and educated with all the speeches that were spoken before. But Mr. Speaker, if I could seek your indulgence, if we can extend this continuation of recognition of our Parliament and the important role it plays. So tomorrow, if those who have not been given opportunity to speak can likewise speak in the sessions that we will have tomorrow. Mr. Speaker, I joined all who have spoken earlier to firstly congratulate you. Since our Parliament moved to the precinct here in Waigani, you are the 12th, if I'm not wrong, you're the 12th Speaker to sit in this important chair, to be steward and chair of all deliberations that happen in our Parliament. So I want to congratulate you, and I also congratulate in advance. As we go out to the 27 elections, you would possibly be amongst the longest consistent serving Speaker in our country's history. So I just want to commend you and your family and the people of Manus for this milestone that you may have achieved for yourself and your people. I want to also register my heartfelt gratitude to those who have served before us in this Parliament. The speakers before you, the 18 of them since the first Speaker of the House of Assembly, the Right Honourable Neil, Mr. Neil, and up then Sir John Guys, one of the fathers of our country, right up till today, yourself. I think they have been men of esteemed characters in their own flair. They contributed to the public discourse that we've had thus far. It looks out of all this plan. 18 plan, fine gentlemen from 1964, come, or the Sidan Losiab, Speaker, the House of People of Papua New Guinea. That looks our way stop. But I also talk thank you long Motu Quaita people who said losing this black ground. Used to be their hunting ground, their ground of gardening. Only losing. I mean, thank you also me part of one black government where we looks out long all and I give him siap long all that from 2027, but let's treat him good so that their voice is held on this floor of Parliament. So that Motu Quaita people are not lost in cosmopolitan Port Moresby or modern PNG going forward. And I say thank you to the Motu Quaita people since 1888. Your Laram government sit down long Konedobu. Missionary come inside. You learn this ground come about nation's capital. This place, again, my mind is not recollecting the earlier word they used, Honorable Member of Mosby Northwest. You can correct me, but there was a word for this place, Waigani. It was a gardening place, it was a hunting place for them, and we want to pay respect to elders and people of past, and people today, and people of Motukweta into the future. For them, we passed a law last week in this house that ground by meaning of Salim nothing. Now the ground Salim finish when we enter into lease arrangement. So Motukweta and other urban areas and other landowners in our country do not have land alienated from them perpetually, but organized in a lease manner. So their inheritance is perpetual. I want to also appreciate the fact that the Australian government gifted us this building. It was financed by Australian government, constructed by a New Zealand Papua New Guinea company. So to the Australian taxpayers, 9 years after we gained independence in 1975, it was before 75, up till 75 and up till today, Australia taxpayers and Australian governments have stood with us every step of the way up till today. Papua New Guinean children, we don't take them for granted. We must not take them for granted. Lest we forget, they became a country themselves in 1906. As they became a country themselves in 1906 or 1901 thereabouts, responsibility over the territory of Papua and New Guinea, especially in the first instance territory of Papua, was cast to them in 1906. And in 1945 they subsumed responsibility over also territory of New Guinea. And so they were not yet an established nation themselves like the West in Europe. They were still an emerging nation themselves, a group of colonies that were amalgamated into one federated state. And they also subsumed the oversight of the territory of Papua and territory of New Guinea. And so we want to appreciate the people of Australia for their continued reach out. Whereas we sometimes have down moments that in the rugby league field or in government debates or business interests. But on this floor, Mr. Speaker, at this time, I just want to register people's appreciation. Almost 50 years on since our independence and 41 years on since the first entry of this magnificent building. They contributed, and I want to say we appreciate them. This house is not just a structure of timber, glass, and stone. Really, it is the heartbeat of our democracy. From the wombs of this house, governments are formed. Mr. Speaker, since 1984, 14 governments have been formed in this floor of Parliament. Whilst we may have a fair set of contests and ups and downs, in as far as democracy is concerned, 14 times this House saw transaction of government formations, changes of leadership. Standing here before you, Mr. Speaker, who would have thought that 1975, a boy living in the remotest of remote, from the last of the last, and today amongst the least of the least, the member for Taripori would be the 8th Prime Minister of our country. I want to thank this wonderful institution for being an enabler of equality, that amongst a house of equal, someone can emerge from the ranks. On the 30th of May 2019, I became the 14th time a Prime Minister was elected on the floor of this House. I want to say thank you to the 101 members who stood in support to elect the member for Taripori into the most important chair in as far as the executive government is concerned. And on behalf of my wife Rachel, our 6 children, the entire people of Taripori, I just want to say thank you to all of you. And I want to say, Mr. Speaker, I stand here humbled by the fact that we have much more to do for our country. And I don't take offense when opposition speak with criticism that is constructive to ensure we get on doing what we must do.
This is the role of government to listen to constructive criticisms. Together, we make a difference for our country. Challenges remain still big. Our democracy has fragility all around. It requires all of us to nurture this democracy. And as the member for Senior correctly pointed to us this morning, we don't abandon the core principles. Time changes, technology emerges, generations changes, but some things don't change. Fundamentally, value systems don't change. So value systems, that is a principle of democracy that must never be altered going forward. Mr. Speaker, even in the joy of our 50th anniversary, we have some moments that almost casted shadow of doubt of our democracy. I point to us two moments in the midst of many moments. There was a moment when a sitting Prime Minister tried his best to preserve democracy, yet he was chased out by the security forces from this precinct. The 1997 Sandline crisis is a reminder that our democracy still remains fragile if we all collectively, all constitutional office holders, elected leaders, appointed leaders, constitutional office holders work and must work to preserve the sanctity of our democracy. The Somare generation, and I thank the chiefs from Angoram, the Somare generation birthed something out of nothing. It was an abstract in the minds of many. Plenty things have not come up. Plenty of one bullet blew me. Today of South Australia. They were given opportunity to whether stop long Papua New Guinea or go to Australia. At 1975, 74, all of them here go to Australia. All stop them. All things of country but punda. Plenty of second generation, third generation naturalized citizens blew me too. 1975, they were given opportunity to stop or go to Australia. All of them go to Australia. I want to thank few of the Caucasians. I think about the likes of the late Ken Fairweather and many of the earlier generation businessmen and Caucasians, Papua New Guinea, who believed in our country and rallied on at 1975 to remain in this country. The Chinese investors, all this second, third generation of line Los Angeles, our generation block and all stop here in the country. I work on them, indigenous Papua New Guineans from 75, 50 years on, we remain. This parliament has seen fragilities. I want to ask all of us, counsel all of us, don't abandon the hard work, the independent generation, Somare, Sir Julius, Yombai Kioku, Te Abel, Say Yanabelo Stapia, Sir John Gaisi Gopinis. The list goes on. All powerful country remain. Mama, late Nauruni, Mama, Bikula Mama, so Josephine Abaja, or they put in work with email of banishing the democracy together. In a long time, go finish 2011. All one percent of members of parliament think of some all above long constitution. I want to counsel all of us. Some of us are still sitting here fresh from the memory. Members of parliament, including the serving speaker then, thought parliament was higher than the constitution of our country. Parliament, higher than constitution. Constitution higher than parliament. You like sensitive constitution? Get some mandate law people? Get some consultation law people? Constitution and one rule book. 2011, this country almost was split into half. I want to take this time to say thank you to Grand Chief Sir Michael Thomas Somare. Tromplaman, Trupleman, Strepleman. Jimmy Ogara must line him example program. I want to, in this speech today, pay respect to the greatest Papua New Guinea ever lived. I was privileged to have served as his tea boy, as his work boy, as his couscous, as his paper runner. Legal Minister of Logan. I saw him one of the greatest ever. 2011, I was with him on the other side in defense of our constitution. When the supermajority felt, because majority was on their side, they can break the constitution. Even against court ruling, Mr. Speaker. If you may know how much you may go to court. Now when I'm court making ruling, me biani. You mean no authority in a rule on its own, Mr. Speaker? Even you, Sinalos here, you siamentaso.
You make a point of order.
So 2011, I think it should be grandstanding those issues. The matter has been dealt in court. You should see the last Supreme Court readings to understand what really transpired. Don't come here and criticize what is an event that is supposed to be of celebration. You know, you have to play your own politics. Stop using other people. You are just grandstanding to patronize this issue. So, Mr. Speaker, rule him, make a ruling to this effect. He's continuously referring. When was the country in battle, Mr. Speaker? The parliamentary majority ruled. That's what numbers are for. That's why we respect this, and that's why you're sitting in this chair, Mr. Speaker. It's not about abusing the Constitution. Just I refer you to the last Supreme Court decision, and it will guide you and your thinking and your patronizing, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the Supreme Court ruled that Somare was legitimate Prime Minister in 2011, on record. On record. This Parliament came and called the greatest man ever lived a stranger in his house. I want to counsel all members of Parliament. Constitution governs how we operate. Not just majority, but majority under the ambit and operation of the law. It must be majority under the ambit and operation of the law. James Marape will not be here forever. Young Papua New Guineans, our democracy is still fragile. Respect democracy in its fullest. This is the house of democracy. And I'll stop here now. I'll go on to Somare. I was up close with him. The court ruled in Somare's favor. I'm making reference to Somare. We went back. You know, those of you who were with the then O'Neill government, you came into the Morata House. I was last man standing defending the chair. I said, this was Somare's chair. This is Somare's chair. No wonder why, right after O'Neill, I became the Prime Minister after Somare. And we went back, the old man, the greatest man. You know what he told us? Don't fight. Don't fight. He exactly went to what Mr. O'Neill said. It's okay, I'll bring him low, election come up close to Golo election. Must kill or fight. You know, all civic, you know, Mangilai. Only got police, only got army. Only got something. Only in a fight too. Now people sample to stop on them all. But the greatest man taught me and all of us the power of respecting this house. Even at the cost of his own seat, the fact that law was broken. Mr. Speaker, may I like point him you. One plus talk where I think Governor Haveta talk said Puga talk important. You must reform. Outside Speaker is elected. Straight in Parliament, outside committee is straight in good now. Committee work. Because these fragilities, you may not straight him good, the fundamental structure, you may not straight him. We will carry this weakness into the future. I saw a glimpse of possibility of Parliament majority abusing Constitution. In 2011, if it weren't for the hand of Somare, we would be in a chaotic situation. There were 2 defense force commanders at that time, Mr. Speaker, lest we forget. There were 2 police commissioners at that time, lest we forget. There were 2 chief secretaries at that time, lest we forget. One from Parliament, one from the National Executive. It is time, all of us today, at the face of our 50th, we're to restore this because we are just passing through time. We're passing through time. The structure we live must be a solid structure that gives aid to the children of this country who will come after us.
We got another point of order. What's your point of order, Member Bravo?
Yes, a very small point to be on the record, because conclusion of the process that the Honorable Prime Minister is complaining about, court decision supporting Grand Chief, was concluded by the decision by the head of state. The Governor General allowed the swearing in of the Prime Minister Peter O'Neill then. So all followed. Law, Parliament spoke, Gigi accepted, Gigi swore in. Thank you.
Honorable Prime Minister.
All right, point accepted. The end doesn't justify the means. The means must always be consistent with the Constitution. Constitution must be the common rule book. We form government, we dethrone government, we conduct business. This is the role of this Parliament. Mr. Speaker, you've known speakers before you who thought they were high, mighty, and authority. And I want to say, it is time we know. We empower Speaker, protect Speaker. The way of Speaker election, way of Speaker removal, the committee system, I support the recommendation passed. The committee must be strengthened. Parliament must be resourced. The opposition must be empowered with a budget line on their own. The state of ministries must be functional to hold government account. These are fundamental work we all must do. And I want all of us to think bigger than today. I want to give fullest commitment to all of you and to our country at the face of our 50th. This fundamental reform in this institution must take place. The debate whether having two houses, the upper house and lower house, the role of governance, all these are important. How do we get Prime Minister to be elected? People election, what is the process? The current process, how do we make sure that he also doesn't look over his back all the time without compromising transparency, good governance, and work? Mr. Speaker, these are fundamental things that we must be engaged upon. And I want to say, 40 years on, this Parliament has produced, through democracy, there have been evidence of fragility. It is now our time to correct the weak spots, fix it up, strengthen it, and pass on a robust democracy. I want to counsel all of us and those who will come after us. In a land of so much diversity like this, democracy is the best mode of government for our country. Many countries around the world have lost it to one-man leadership in a nation of so many and so many and 1,000 tribes. We cannot leave democracy. We have to protect and preserve democracy. I want to ask this Parliament, as our executive government, commit to prepare for 2027 election better. All of us give a greater support to the Electoral Commission work next year. We'll look into this space better, and in part of the process, create an electoral process that is good for all of us. But when the electoral process is complete, Mr. Speaker, coming to the House, this House and the foundation it sets must be looked at so that in our own time we create something that also continues to stand, but stand and serve its people rightfully going forward into the future. Speaker, congratulations on you. I look forward to continue work on you on behalf of the national government. Congratulations to the Parliament of our country.
The question is the question we now put. Those in favor say aye. All honorable members, before me sing out the leader, I think leader of the government business law, make him adjournment. Me like talk. Thank you, lo you plagda. Usadi make him all talk lo this 41st anniversary of the Parliament. Assume me go inside the 50th anniversary of the independence of this country. All plenty to talk me make him finish. The executive government, all ministers, you me all the members of Parliament, you may take him into account. Then the next 50 years, and by you me must make him send his kamapa. Me like to thank you. Too long. There's a time on this day, 41 years ago, maybe in young man, may go look lo place look arawa panguna one night to sol. Misa harim na migo. Now on this day, where Prince Charles and me come na me open in Parliament, and me like come look him opening lo Parliament na me kalabalus but me come closer to that. The Parliament open. On that plane, me not even in my wildest dream that one day, but me see now this potential of Parliament. Also, I like to thank you, the former Prime Minister O'Neill. Time you've been Prime Minister na government blue you make him up Speaker of this 10th Parliament. I like to thank you too long, Prime Minister Marape. Time you came government, you still continue. Forming government again for 2022. maki mi ken 11th speaker of the 11th parliament ken. So mi ka dis labik la mamas. Samla sanding mi lukim tay mi kam kisim sa sia. Mi sabe tokim. Until you said you come na you wear him the sasu, you sit down as a sia. And one kind talk pisin or talk less mi said tokim ya by talking. Na tete mi hamamas prime minister you make him look sabe all our member sepukatemo na lisla long parliament. You may come inside the parliament here, you may come here and first also member of the parliament. Na behind, you make some mark come up with some speaker, come up with some prime minister, come up with some all ministers, opposition leader when them. This life secondary, but primary you may members of parliament. Laga, a very, very important work we must make him. So me like looking also me start the next 50 years ago. Parliament, he must get this a look savem long. Bloody time experience lo me become a speaker. Parliament ask him when I'm something halbim lo money long running lo parliament. You mean a fulfill him. But constitution dog he must come up also. You must behind him. Now also you took talk plan, took talk the constitution. He start the next 50 years. You may behind him constitution. The house for people for Papua New Guinea, you must give him priority long and first. So make him all walk long and so that by look out in people blame in this country. One will look sabe me. And we start here 2019, you may experience it. Inside of this Mama law of constitution, I got provisions, the constitution, lo makim. Prime Minister na rausimem. You got provision, the constitution, lo makim Governor General, na I got provision, lo rausimem. You got provision of constitution. Lo makim Chief Justice, na lo rausimem. Lo speaker, you got provision that's all. Lo makim na inokat lo rausimem. We go look long. All constitutional planning committee lo time before they put in constitution. Only come na li recommend him. That speaker too is have inside where he must get provision around him one time from the prime minister. Minos have a while for fathers blaming all no put him. There's la provision is that. Or same that you even got this experience of 2019 I may like talk. No good you must look again. Lord this la provision na you must get provision la parliament. Lord we can rouse him speaker. So the speaker I know will more good Lord. Mikam look sabe lo tupla incident. Also there's a diversity blame lo country am strong blame. Lo 2018 this la House Parliament blame now imisina longanya could have been bent down. Tamolayan blame the disciplinary process all in a one bell after the IPEC meeting. Now they come straight to Parliament. Landi hapkanas all one only broke him now the son of Paya took and kirap. Now me like to thank you long, Prime Minister. At that time, you remember the Taripori, now you come send up on the mean and meet up you send up na talk long haul, na stop him all. Because time he send up me look him, and all New Guinea Islands only stop. Na thinking only come here, only come now, only AM. Leader of the region, blah, so me blah, respect him na harim. Landi online blue me law and tabi stop. And time marapem send up all to harim. Na this house no go down. Narbla incident. Time must be a me paya just a couple of years ago. Laga. Must be pile ka dahap. This house to by paya. Only come no here. Look okay. But time me come send up. Na me look him. Online, New Guinea Islands, one place mamase na line o liluk sabi mi. Na dok nokat yumi holim. So this will diversity bla yumi. Lo country bla yumi, I'm strong bla yumi. Lo making yumi. One nation, one country, one people. Na now yumi stop. So me get this will look sabi na me like to give him a strong him for the next 50 years time we go. So one day more said talk me make him. Me like talk sabi all members. He got all programs outside. Suppose you me must go participate or go stop on the line by me. All he stop. He got all former members of parliament who said all he been stopped, lo start long end. Some blah long all he stop. All he put in constitution. You me talk now all stop. It's a privilege and a honor. Lo by me gonna meet him all. Today, this morning, I met some of them where me no been Misa Harem name time me young blamani sumatin yet. But first time when me say come, let me look look face to face today. So me ask him, all members flame me, so what you got opportunity, meet him all this line. Talk sabe long all the members flame me lo parliament. Tete Avinun, and by you me unveil him, this plus statue. Long grand chief who said me founding father on lo country blame me. So me ask him, you may all get us of us, you may not make him, you may come now witness him this location. Me like talk thank you, lo yubla line, you come lo angram. Now yubla come lo place lo grand chief somewhere, tete you may sit down inside long this house. Thank you lo yubla lo come. One of this missing out now long. Minister of Fisheries na acting nila of government business.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the Parliament do now adjourn until tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Question is that the motion be agreed to. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Honorable members, Parliament is now adjourned to 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.